All right. Thank you. My name is Oyebanji, Akins. You can call me DJ O2 Fresh, and we're live on CTD Among Blacks Podcast. And what are we going to be talking about today is going to be a different theme. You can see me, I'm the only one sitting there on this particular episode. But you know what? I've been privileged to have wonderful people since I started my podcast. And shout out to everyone that have been listening, that follow, that share, that have commented some kind of wins in what I'm doing. So this particular episode, it's going to be a lot of different, like I've been saying a couple of episodes back. And why it's going to be different is this particular one is like me and you having a conversation today. And what do I mean by saying we're having a conversation? The conversation of this particular topic is for every connection, there's an intention. What do I mean by saying for every connection, there's an intention? For you listening to me right now, there's an intention behind it. Maybe you're trying to know me. Maybe you're trying to gain something from this particular episode. Maybe you just want to keep checking. Maybe I'll stop doing this particular episode. You know, for everybody have different reasons why they're following this particular podcast. But for you that you find yourself listening to this particular one, I hope you can gonna enjoy it. And it's a way of you asking yourself some questions too. And that's the question is for everything we're doing, you know, for every connection, there's an intention. What is your intention? What is this all about in this world? You find yourself looking at me right now. What is the intention behind it? Are you looking to learn? Are you looking to find every fault in everything I'm saying? Or are you looking to find out that maybe my eyes is small, like people always say? Or you just want to try to look at people always say my sexy tits. Let me brag myself. But let's get back to the main thing. You know, I'm trying to bring some awareness, some couple of things that people don't think is very, very important. And what is the power of online connection? You know, a lot of things that people take for granted nowadays that is very, very important. For every time you go to online, maybe on your phone, maybe on Facebook, maybe on YouTube, maybe on TikTok, anywhere you find yourself, maybe on Twitter, which is called X, if I'm correct. And what is it all about? Are you tapping into the power of connection? Online connection. You know, it's been wonderful for me because I did some couple of research. And for this particular episode, I'm going to be talking on just one part of it. I don't know whatever response I get from people. I'm going to turn into episode upon episode to really break it down what I mean by that. And how do I come up with this word? A lot of things happened to me in 2023 that if I start to talk about it, it's going to be too much for people like, man, this, that. But it's not about me today. It's just about sharing some things I've learned in my life. And in 2023, that I feel like is going to change a lot of people's life. And what is that thing? It's one friend of mine that asked me that. And I said, you know, for every connection, there's an intention. And it was like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, just think about it. For every time you do something or you meet someone or you're trying to do something, you have an intention behind it. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. But you just don't connect with people without having a reason. You listen to music because you don't want to feel in pain. You watch a movie because you don't want to think about something else. You go to gym because you don't want to think about your pain. You just want to sit in your house, eat, smoke, drink, whatever you want to call it, just because you're running away from something. But people don't really think about now that we're living in a world where online is where everybody lives, man. And the little research I make, I realized that a lot are happening in our life that we don't even know. They said everybody sometimes we spend more than 2-3 hours once we hold our phone. We get stuck to it. You could Google what I'm saying is online. You will see so many research about the power of online. So what are you doing with your own time? What are you trying to understand? For every time you go on social media, what is your intention behind it? What are the things you're trying to do? Are you trying to do something that's going to impact the world in a good way? Or it's going to make it bad? You know, I went to some Google to did some research about a lot of things that happen on social media, and I was so shocked to find a lot of studies about article about the psychological effect of social media on relationship with people. You know, we're living in a world where people don't even value ourselves anymore like we do. It becomes where people just go through we just use social media to express our pain or to connect truthfully with people. You know, a lot of people will go online and they just want to say a lot of bad things to people without not even thinking about who they are saying those words to. And some people get caught up without not even knowing. So what is your intention every time you find yourself in between a spat? You know, when you find yourself on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, on TikTok, what is really you doing? Are you just trying to look for an answer for your problem? Or are you trying to look for something that's going to take your pain away? Or you're just being there just because you just want to be there? Or you are aspiring to do something that's going to change people's life? Or you just feel like, you know what, I'm going to make my dream through this internet? So today, this particular episode, you're looking at me, Oyebanji Akins. You can call me DJ O2 Fresh. And this is CTD Among Blacks. And I hope you're listening, and I hope I'm not boring you out. What I'm trying to make you understand in life is for every time you connect with people, For everything you connect with, there's an intention. What is your intention? You're looking at me right now. I might not have the right answers you need, but your answer might be in your mind. You just need somebody to really trigger that part of you. And I guess maybe this is what I'm saying. Might trigger your mind to realize that there's something behind my life that I gotta pursue. Some people just want to live a life simple. Some people want to make it big. But every time you're making it big, I do tell people now around me, like, black people are having a privilege that really changing the world. But what are we putting online? I'm not going to disrespect people, but I can definitely tell you there's a lot of things that you are not going to believe that you find about black people. And I do ask myself this question. You could ask yourself too. In the next 50 years, all these things are going to become an evidence about black people. These are the things that we talk about black people, African, blacks, anyhow you want to call yourself. And we're really dominating the world in the sense that we don't even think we're making history for the next people coming. So for every time you wake up, every time you go online, every time you find yourself doing something, what is the intention? Lately now, you see parents worried about themselves. They don't even care about their kids. Some kids don't even like their parents anymore. It's a lot, man. Like when you really look at life and you just got to understand, what is my intention? Wherever you find yourself, home, family, country, city, town, maybe you've given up on yourself. For every time you think you give up, there's an intention behind why you give up. Are you giving up because you think you don't have nobody to help you out? I'm gonna quickly share my own story for you. And I went online. I was able to build. I've known a lot of people from Nigeria, in America, and they're wonderful people. I have families that I have friends that I've done family, but yet I've went through hell with people, with the intention of me thinking I'm trying to build something, and I realized within the line, they are trying to use what I'm trying to build to be themselves because they really don't understand how to figure themselves out. And seeing me trying to push my own dreams give them the courage to want to try to do their own, but they don't mind manipulating my own dreams just to get their own going. And things like that make me to understand the world in the sense that we all just live into struggle to make something happen. I don't even blame them. I don't even hate them. They're still wonderful people in my life, and they're always going to be wonderful people. But one thing they've really told me about my life is the intention. We meet people for many reasons, but we don't even understand the intention. Are you being a friend with people because you just want to do them bad? Are you in their life because you just want to be their friends to let them to motivate you? Or are you being my friend because you feel like I have to be your friend? These are the things you got to understand about yourself to really understand for every time you connect with people, with music, with food, with the culture, with wherever you find yourself you're living. What is the intention? For a Nigerian coming from Nigeria to America to live here, what is your intention? Was it your intention to live here to make it a better place, or you just want to make money and go home? And every time they ask you, just be real. You don't got to lie. You don't have to lie to people saying I'm going to be here for 40 years, and in your mind, you just want to be here for 2 years. Because every time you shift your intention, you're shifting the world entirely. Having the privilege to change something, but you get caught up in the fact of you want to survive, and you don't care for every time you connect with people. You want to put the pain you're going through into them without understanding how they will feel. And every time somebody do that back to you, the question you ask yourself, do I deserve this? So the question right now is, you looking at me right now, what is your intention in this world? Have you asked yourself that question? What do you really, really want to become? What is your goal? Let me share a quick story about myself. A couple of months back, you're going to be seeing possibly, I have some evidence to show you. It's going to be showing right there. Where you realize that, I was trying to find myself, man. I did some business in America. I did some back home. It wasn't going like I want to. And there's a lot of how people look at me, and I have this ego in me that I'm humble outside, but inside I have a standard for myself. And, I try to team up with people that I believe in, and some things happen in my life that make my soul to humble myself. And within that time, a lot of things start happening with my life. And, I created this thing in my head while I was at home one day. I said, I'm going to call myself the mix of United States and Nigeria. And, I started going to Twitter and start tweeting how I feel, my pain, my struggles. But what I was saying, if you go check me out on Twitter right now, you're going to see it. It wasn't about anything bad. I was just trying to be positive about myself, about what I'm going through. And find a reason to believe that it's possible that I can still make it, even though I don't understand how I'm going to make it. I did a clothing line, kind of make some money, but damn, tell you what I lost was more than what I make. So from there, I switched to a DJ. You might see some pictures. I started doing DJ around. A couple of my friends come and I said, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? But the goal about myself is every time I wake up in my life is to have a meaningful thing in my life. I just want to be something. My intention is always about, I just want to change somebody's life. I just want to be that guy that will make somebody to be happy. I just want to be that guy that will make somebody to feel happy anytime they feel sad. And it hasn't been easy for me. And, there are times I cry. There are times I shut myself out. There are times I don't even want to talk to people. And, within a couple of 8 months, I kind of passed out 2 times. It's crazy. You see some pictures right here too. And luckily for me, the first time I have wonderful people around me. I was saved. The second time I was alone, but I survived. And that changed my narrative from that time, saying, what is really, really my intention in this world. And I started telling myself every time I wake up and go online, I'm always going to be looking for anything positive. So when people send me something that's not positive, I'm not even going to open it, because I feel like the intention behind it might not take me to the next place I need to be. Moving forward with my story in Twitter, I started tweeting, started expressing myself. And from there, I have this wonderful brother of mine that called me one day and said, bro, I have some team of people I would like to give you that can start helping you out in, what you're doing on Twitter. And, you might go big. And I was like, for real? It was like, yes. Then I got connected to these people. And you know what? Give me a second. I just got to sip this real quick. Sorry about that. They say health is wealth. And you got to take care of yourself. If you want to know what I'm drinking, it's just cucumber and some, orange. I just blend it together to lose some, Back to watermelon. Sorry, my bad. It's watermelon. I want to say watermelon and some orange. Yes, watermelon. But back to what I'm trying to say is, it's the fact of telling you, I started tweeting on Twitter and I started expressing myself. I'll go look for wonderful videos. And every time I go out there, what I'm trying to do or tweet about is every time I just started adding something, my mind started telling me to start adding, mix of US and Nigeria to everything I'm doing. So every time I post, I just put a hashtag for no reason. I keep adding that hashtag. I keep putting it up on the page on Instagram. Sometimes I'll move from Instagram to, from Twitter to Instagram to, so I started tweeting about, and I started seeing results start coming in. People were saying a lot of things like, bro, this, that. Some people were really saying good things. Some people were saying bad things. I wasn't really impressed. And the guy my team member was one of the guys, which is his name. His name is Rapsy. I got to give him all this credit, flowers. So Rapsy was like, bro, don't even look at the comments, because if you look at it, it's not going to make you keep doing what you're doing. Just focus. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was amazed. I was looking at myself like, wow, if I can make this happen, wow, I just start doing more. And after a while, I felt like, let me stop. And I think I did tweet about something. I can't remember what it is. And I shared with one of my friends, like that, which is part of my team in CTDAmongblacks. And boom, the next thing I realized CTDA was posting it on his page. And that shit went over my head again, like, hey, okay, you know what? I got to be serious. All I'm trying to share in my story for you right now, if you're listening, is about saying I found myself connecting to the social media with a good intention of trying to do something great. My intention was just to go out there to make somebody happy. My intention was go out there just to make somebody feel happy, to be positive. So every time I found myself online, I wasn't just looking of anything that is bad. Even though you say something bad, I'm about to tweet it back in a good way. So I look at things in a good way, not ever in a bad way. And how I was able to find myself is I've went through tons of a lot of things. I'm not saying your own struggles is not worse than mine. I'm just trying to tell you I went through things that I never even think I'll be standing right here to do this. And that doesn't mean I'm balanced right now. You understand what I mean? But you know what? Like, I did another review on Friday song, and there was this particular track that was saying, like, sometimes I won't pay my bills, but I still got to be in the VIP trying to follow this dream. So those are some things I had to go through in my own life. But what I'm trying to tell you is, from Burna Boy, from Friday, from Today Not, I started finding myself reviewing movies, and the numbers just keep going up. And, from there, I started telling myself with my team, the task telling me, like, okay, you know what? let's start finding music that we know is popping, and we just try to review that on how I feel. And I found myself doing it to the level where a couple of days ago, I see some people coming for me, some big names in Nigeria, telling me like, when nobody is trying to review music anymore, people whack like me would try to find themselves trying to review music for somebody that had to take 1 year to do a craft, and somebody like me just come from nowhere without understanding what life is about or music. And I just feel like I have the God to review, and I'm getting depression. But all I'm trying to tell you is this: for everything I did, and I'm saying like this, I've tweeted on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Oyebanji Akins. The same thing on TikTok, the same thing on Snap, the same thing on Instagram. And you can follow me any one of those pages. You find me right there. And don't forget, follow CTDAmongblacks Podcast on Instagram, on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. We are all on that places, and you can listen to all the things I'm saying. And going back to the story about connecting, for every connection, what is your intention? Ask yourself that question while I'm even telling my story right now. For every time you connect, for every time you come online, what is it all about? Are you going out there just to really do something to make it good or to make it bad? So for you that are listening right now, just ask yourself that question, like, what is the intention about? For you going to work, for where you're working, for you going to church, for you going to mosque, for you keeping a friendship, for you having a colleague at work, for you playing soccer, for you, anything you might find yourself doing. What is the intention about it? Is it a good intention or a bad one? Or you're just doing it because you got bills to pay? If that's it, then you got to find happiness doing it. But is that the real you though? Is that what you want to become? Is that a goal you want to be in your life? So whatever you want to become in your life, go for it. Even though it makes sense, it doesn't make sense, just go for it right now. But be real about it. Because for every time you find yourself having the right intention, it's going to bring the result you want. I'm a living witness to that. My numbers on Twitter is still like, on Instagram it's like I think 90 something thousand. But on Twitter it's just like, I started from 4. Now I'm like 22,000 something. It is not a number for me actually, but it's the fact that I can do something that can make people to follow me for good intention. Not just because the one I have on Instagram is all about people following me for the kind of things I post on my story, the kind of lifestyle I'm living. To them is a lifestyle, but to me it's nothing. I'm just trying to, package myself in the sense that I can impress the right people that need to understand me, to listen to what I'm saying, to be able to, get my result. But I did all that on Instagram, and I realized it wasn't even working for me. I have the numbers, but there's nothing I'm getting from those numbers. They're out. Man, for Nigerians that understand, if you know how many people that are begging me for money right now on Instagram, it's too damn much without understanding what I'm even going through. But the point is, I went to Twitter this year, and right now, for me, somebody like me to express how I feel about somebody's album, without not trying to disrespect them, I'm just sharing my views. And, I start getting more than, a lot of people trying to say it and to express themselves. I have somebody telling me like it's because of my review. They come online every day to come and check what I write about some music and movies. Seeing something like that will make you feel like, wow, I can change somebody's mind in a good way. And like I said, I know some of the musicians that I might review their music might not like what I said, but at the end of the day, one thing you should understand is for the fact that I review your music, it makes people to really want to listen to your music. So both ways, you're still winning. You're not really, really losing, if you want to say it. Because some people will come to my page and they would talk bad words. But the main point about what I'm doing is I'm just being true to my, that connection I have online. I'm being true to it. And I'm seeing the result. And the result is really keeping me going. And I'm just getting started. So for you that might be following CTDAmongblacks, I hope you can continue to follow me. Because this is just part 1 of, for every connection, there's an intention. I'm still going to be bringing a lot I've learned in my life, in a relationship, in friendship, in your job, in your dreams, in your life, in your thought, in your belief. Things like that. You got to, how is your intention towards yourself? Do you want yourself to really live long? Or you just want yourself to just live anyhow you like? Without not shedding this particular artist in Nigeria that just dropped an album a couple of days ago, that I review his album, and he had to lie to people saying he's dead so that the music can move. That's an intention. Why would somebody want to wish themselves to die so that the music can go viral? But that's how he thought about himself. And I said something to somebody when I listened to it. I said, it is not even that particular artist that did that. This is the thing I have for you. This is just my opinion. You don't got to follow it. Since you wish yourself that, it's definitely going to affect your brand. Some people want to do business with you because the fact that you tell yourself you're dead so that you can sell some track just for particular couple of months, because Jesus, there's a lot of people dropping album every day. So when you tell people that you're dead and you kind of come back to life, and I still see it on Today Notes page that they were saying, like, I'm not shedding nobody and I'm trying to make it about them, but I still see it on Today Notes saying, like, Google haven't even changed it, that it's still back alive. You know, that's something that tarnishes your brand in respect of your passion about your talent. So for every time you wish for something about your talent, if you're a musician, your movie star, whatever you want to call yourself, what is the true intention about it? My own true intention about my podcast. It's nothing more than saying bridging the gap and connecting the dot. And there's somebody that asked me on Twitter that said, what is the meaning of mix of US and Nigeria? NG. And I said, the meaning for me, for everybody, wherever you might be in the world, for the fact that you want to vibe yourself like a Nigerian and American, you're part of the team. So you can follow me too on Twitter. Mix of US and NG. So I'm making my own brand, and you know, if you tap the hashtag on Twitter, it's gonna populate a lot of evidence for you. And you know, it's so unfortunate that we live in a world where everybody feel like for you to say something, you got to have evidence. In Burna Boy's voice, you know, you go explain till I know evidence. You know, but you know, the only thing that makes me be able to say this so bold enough is because my intention towards what I was doing online was to make sure I could impress and to change somebody's life in a good way. And I've done so many things, and I'm still going to keep doing many things because I don't think like that's the only one thing I got to do. But right now I find myself doing reviews on Twitter. And it's giving me the result I want. Not just the result I want, the fact that people can come to me and bash me, make me feel like I exist in a good way. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's craft. That is not my goal. So for you listening to me right now, think about it. For every time you go out, for every time you're listening to what you're listening to right now, what is the intention about it? Is it to bring out every fault in my English word? Is it to bring out the fault in my accent? Or to talk about my face? Or to talk about everything I've said is trash? That's cool. You don't have to like everything I'm saying. But think about it. What's your intention to the world? Remember, what we're doing right now, like they do say, internet doesn't forget. We're going to be history. How do you want them to remember your name? Not just now. Think about it in the next 50 years. When they talk about some names, and they're talking about black people, that they dominate the world, how do you think they will mention your name? What impact are you really giving out? So for every time you see yourself connecting to something, ask yourself that question. What is my intention? My name is Oyebanji Akins. This is CTD Among Blacks. Think about it. I hope I've been able to give you something different. I hope this will make you to follow my page. I hope this will make you to share some couple of videos we've had in the past. Mind you, we're still going to be doing a lot of episodes on this particular podcast channel. So till you see me next time, ask yourself that question. For every time I'm connecting, what is the intention behind it? Is it to make it a better place? Or to make this world a bad place? You don't got to tell me. Talk to yourself. Think about it. If you're driving, you're on the bed, you're at work, you're in the gym, you're just sitting in your living room and you find yourself listening to this particular moment. What is your intention every time you find yourself online? Think about it. Thank you. I remain Oyebanji Akins. You can call me DJ O2 Fresh, and this is CTD Among Blacks. If you have any stories you want to share with us, anything you want to talk about, you want to sponsor this particular channel, you can reach out to us in ctdamongblack@gmail.com. And our website is www.ctdamongblack.com, and our YouTube channel, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, our Twitter page is CTD Among Blacks. We're bridging the gap and we're trying to connect all the dots as much as we can. Thank you.